Hi everyone, welcome to the Gradbury Academy to Social Media Marketing 101. This is your instructor, Masood, and today we'll be discussing about how to build and manage a brand's social media presence with this beginner course. And this is lesson 1, where we'll be discussing more on how to plan and select your social network presence from the multitude of social networks that are available today. Basically, this course is best for students and fresh graduates that are looking to enter into the field of social media, no matter what degree you've completed or are currently completing in college. And it's also best for entrepreneurs that are looking to start their own businesses and brands and would like to market them using social media marketing methods. And of course, also for seasoned working professionals that are looking to learn more about the exciting world of social media. So let's begin. So this is lesson 1.1, and we start off with an introduction to social media planning and strategy. When we look and compare between traditional and new forms of marketing, we see that traditional marketing utilizes direct selling, TV, radio, billboards, print materials, and collateral. So it's more commonly referred to as push marketing. So if we really look at the brand on one side and consumer on the other, we see that the brand is really pushing their products onto the consumer. So it's in a lot of ways it's one directional. And but then if we compare and look at digital marketing, which basically utilizes electronic devices such as laptops, tablets, and mobiles, and digital marketing encompasses internet marketing, so SEO, SEM, online advertising, and social media. So for those of you that are also considering taking the digital marketing courses, do remember that social media is a branch of the umbrella of digital marketing, basically. And you can consider digital marketing to be the parent and social media to be the child. So social media is commonly associated with pull marketing. So pull marketing is really where we're trying to get the consumer to really arrive at our brand's destination. And we're trying to pull them in that direction. So it's not more of really pushy sales messages, which is what traditional marketing has usually been about, but it's more of pulling the consumer, getting them interested in the brand, and really making them interested enough to make that purchasing decision. What we're trying to do with social media is really pull the consumer in our direction and make them interested enough to increase conversions and engagement as well. What's interesting to note, however, is that banner ads would actually be considered push marketing. And that's really because in banner ads, we're trying to push our message to consumers and hope that they somehow engage with the brand by clicking on the ad. Now, some of the differences to consider between traditional and digital marketing are in terms of costs and budgets, overall reach, and of course, brand experiences. So with costs and budgets, just think about a large billboard on, for example, the California 101 or even Sheikh Zayed Road. That large billboard will probably cost upwards of $50,000. And what we're seeing here is that costs and budgets are becoming lower and lower with digital marketing and social media, in the sense that you can implement a full-scale campaign without having to use a very large budget. I mean, we're seeing pages that probably have a budget of 0 but have over 200,000 likes and have an overall reach of 1 million. So what's really great about digital marketing and social media is that we're seeing costs and budgets go down, and really just about anyone can implement a page or implement a full-scale strategy. You don't need to be of a certain age, come from a certain background of experience. What's great about social media and digital marketing, and why I'm so passionate about it as well, is because no matter your background, no matter your reach, if you have an interesting product, an interesting idea, or an interesting brand that you're working for, then you can really reach a wide scale of audience, basically. So now that moves into overall reach. Again, let's say you have that billboard on a certain highway that has high traffic at peak times. Again, at the end of the day, there's only so much reach that you're going to have. So let's assume that there's going to be maybe 300 cars, every 2 hours. So there's a certain limit on how many people you're going to reach. So let's say you reach maybe 2,000. The best part about social media is you don't really have a limit on how many people you can reach. There's no geographic limit. And then, of course, brand experiences. And this is where it gets really exciting, because With social media, we are utilizing several senses. So we're not only utilizing the sense of sight, like we are with traditional marketing. With social media, we also have different elements that are coming into play, but we're seeing the sense of hearing being used with multimedia videos. So you have and what's really interesting was there's also haptic interfaces. Haptic interfaces are basically those that also utilize the sense of touch. And we're going to be seeing that more and more in the future with digital marketing. But what's really exciting is that you can really immerse a customer in your brand's experience through social media and digital marketing. And for further reading, I really recommend if you just click on this link, you'll be led to the article, which discusses more on what makes digital marketing fundamentally different from traditional marketing. It's a great article by Forbes, and I really recommend it for further reading as well. So this was your overall introduction to digital marketing, social media, and the differences between traditional and new forms of marketing. But now let's jump in to our video. And what I would recommend is if you just click on play here within your Prezi, you'll be able to view this video. I recommend watching this. It's a very short video, but basically it's very interesting. It's very exciting. There are several elements in play, but basically it discusses why social media has become so important in today's world and in our generation, and whether it's a fad. Moving on, so once you've watched the video, you'll really understand and realize that if we ask the question, what is social media? It's a fundamental shift in the way we communicate. And what we're seeing is that with social media, again, it goes back to that push and pull marketing element that we discussed earlier, where we're trying to get customers to come in and basically be pulled to our products. And you know, there's a lot more feedback. There's a lot more of that two-way communication that we're seeing. So it's not only us pushing messages to our consumers, it's also consumers replying back and telling us what they like, what they dislike, and how they would like to continue engaging with the brand. So consider this: a 9-year-old's cardboard arcade. So a 9-year-old, his name is Cain. He started a small cardboard arcade. So basically, it's an arcade made of cardboard boxes. So imagine this: he's a 9-year-old. Actually, let's imagine a street. You're walking by, you see this garage, and what's really interests you and piques your interest is that there's firstly a long line outside to get into the garage, and what you also see is that it's basically an arcade, and the arcade itself, the games, they're made of cardboard boxes. And within each cardboard box, you have, I mean, you know, traditional games like Pong, but also several others. And you know, it's just so exciting, and it's great to see. The reason why I'm using this as an example is, I mean, he's a 9-year-old, and now he has over 131,000 likes on his Facebook page. He had a $0 budget. Obviously, he's 9. All he did was he used a couple of cardboard boxes, and through his imagination and creativity, he created this arcade. And you know, again, we're seeing that all barriers of age, race, and capital are being torn down with social media. I mean, you don't need those hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars really to have a campaign. And you know, they created this great video on Caines Arcade. It went viral, and then he started you know, all the pages and events that they have on Facebook. And you know, and what's great is that he's extremely popular now in his neighborhood, and not only that, but all over the world. So here's a quote from the video that you've watched, and basically it's not really, we don't have a choice on whether we do social media. The question really is how well we do it. And you can watch the video once you've ended the lesson. But it's really a great quote, which shows that that no matter what major we're from, what we studied in college, or what our current background is in terms of our professional experience, we're going to see that it's going to become more and more important for us to become social media literate and understand also about digital marketing as well. So just to move on, here's actually a screenshot of the Facebook page of Caines Arcade. And basically, you can actually visit his site, cainesarcade.com. And if you visit the site, you'll actually be able to see the video as well. And here you can see his his arcade in the background. There's the cardboard boxes, but it's just, it's I wanted to give this example as something very simple. I mean, there's not a big brand or big multinational backing this, or really just about anything. It was just a kid who decided to have a cardboard arcade over the summer period. So again, it's fascinating how we're seeing all of these barriers really being torn down, and how just about anyone can create a massive presence. So moving on, let's start getting a bit more technical. And one of the first phases of really your social media planning or strategy should be to firstly create your business goals. So when you're starting to work with a brand, or whether it's your own brand, or whether it's at your company, one of the most important elements before starting your social network presence is to figure out what exactly is your business goal. Is it to build awareness and thought leadership through social media? Is it direct response advertising for demand generation and revenue? What that basically means is, for example, you're trying to advertise an event, and your direct responses would obviously be people clicking attending, or people registering for the event, and building up the event attendees. So you're trying to generate that demand, and then of course that leads to revenue, because you might have an admission fee for your event. Or are you trying to conduct primary market research before your brand maybe launches a new product? So what the best part is about social media is you can start a focus group online. And are you trying to conduct that primary market research to understand market preferences? Or perhaps are you even trying to conduct customer service for customer satisfaction and reputation management? So this might be that you're trying to create a separate social network presence just for customer service. And/or are you trying to grow the brand's lifetime value and increase your engagement? So these are basically examples of business goals. But now, let's connect them with social media. So what you're trying to do is first you identify what your business goals are. Once you've identified them, it's very easy to just align them with your social media strategy. So for example, the first one was building brand awareness and thought leadership. You can do so through viral marketing via a branded blog. And to actually give you the first example of this is a perfect example of a branded blog. So this is by Bill Marriott, who's the CEO of Marriott Hotels, and he's actually talking about in one of his blog posts, he discusses how he stepped down as CEO. But what's really interesting here is again, Marriott Hotels, very famous multinational hospitality brand, and I mean, if we really think about it. There really isn't a reason for them to have a blog, because they've been around for a very long time, and they're a very well-established brand. But again, you see here that this is how they're trying to build thought leadership in their hospitality space. So for example, if I am a follower of Bill Marriott and I continuously read his blog posts for whether it's inspiration or just information on the hospitality industry, but what will happen is that Marriott will become top of mind. And so at the end of the day, when the next time I book my hotel reservation and I'm trying to pick between Marriott and, for example, Radisson, most likely I will go with Marriott. This is really what what's great is that, again, Marriott is going beyond just having a boring corporate blog, which is like just pushing the Marriott brand. Here, as you notice, it's very limited branding, and what it's focusing on is the CEO's message. So he's really trying to, he has a book as well, but and it's very similar to what Richard Branson of Virgin Group does as well. And it's not only about just building the corporate brand, it's also about building the personal brand. But what's great here is that you feel this personal connection, really. You have his autograph on the site as well, when the CEOs or whenever managing directors are very active on Twitter, you can also consumers or customers can even send inquiries, or obviously it's up to them to respond or not. But what's great here is that it's not a very corporate blog, or it's not really pushing the corporate brand. But again, what they're really trying to do is, if we go back, they're really trying to build that thought leadership around his personal brand. Then, of course, we have direct response advertising Before actually I move on, I'd just like to mention that we have a separate course on blogging. So if you're more interested in that, that's our SMM 203 course, and it's in our intermediate category. So once you finish the beginner course, you can actually take the intermediate courses as well. Moving on. Direct response advertising for demand generation. Again, I mentioned what this was earlier in terms of events, but here you can see you can trigger a direct response via registration for an event through Eventbrite, Meetup, Twitter, and other channels. We talk more about Meetup later on in the course, but let me just give you an example of Eventbrite. So we at Gradbury, we had a Future Leaders event. It was basically a graduate recruitment seminar, and we had HR professionals from around the region attend the event to learn about best practices on recruiting graduates. And what we did was we actually wanted to have our event on Eventbrite. And what's really great about Eventbrite is that it centralizes all of your event registrations and your RSVPs. And also, once an attendee has RSVP'd, has clicked on RSVP, it's very easy and it's very simple. Basically, what happens is that it generates a ticket, and then they can download that ticket onto their iPad or mobile and show it at the event. And it's as simple as that. So Eventbrite is great because you can have an event landing page up in seconds, literally. I mean, I believe this took about 40 seconds to create. And what's great is that, again, you can share this event page on social media. So we can share this on Facebook, on Twitter, and gain even more attention and awareness around the event. So it's great because there's a centralized location. Plus, people that go on Eventbrite and click on current events happening in Dubai will be able to see your event, or whether it's Dubai, whether it's San Francisco, wherever you might be, you'll actually be able to see your potential attendees will be able to see the event on their landing page when they're on their homepage on Eventbrite. So again, this is just another example of how you can align your business goal with social media. Let's go back and look at the third. So one of the very common reasons why people come on social media, and this is actually what happened with us as well at Gradbury. To give you a personal example, when we first started out at the very beginning, when we needed validation for our idea, and we talk more about validation as well in this course, but we needed validation. Basically, validation would be when we wanted to find out whether we had a market for the idea, whether customers were interested in what we wanted to do. So whether it was when we first launched the website or even when we first launched our courses, we actually use social media as a tool for product development. So we got customer feedback through Twitter. We posted surveys on Twitter, Facebook as well. And of course, there's also Quora. So Quora is lesser, it might be lesser known than Facebook or Twitter, but is an extremely helpful tool. So let's move into Quora. There we go. So here, it's basically Quora.com, and this is actually a snapshot of homepage, my homepage, and that basically I see whenever I log on. But it's great because you can literally write and request reviews for products, and not only that, but you can also post questions, most importantly. And let's say that, for example, you're entering a new market, you're trying to find out who's the market leader in that category. You can literally just post a question and you will have experts answering that question. And, you can interact with industry professionals as well. So it's very, very useful, really. And it's a fantastic tool because it's basically like crowdsourced question and answering. And there's just, anytime you even search within an industry, you can find questions other people have posted and answers to those questions as well. So I really recommend using this tool. Specifically when you're trying to look into customer development. All right, so you can use social media as a tool for customer feedback through surveys, but you can also use social media as a customer service tool for customer satisfaction and reputation management. And this can really be performed via microblogging platforms such as Twitter or Facebook pages and messaging. It's very convenient, basically, to message your product or service provider via Twitter or Facebook anytime you experience any outages in service. And of course, there's also social CRM to grow the brand's lifetime value and increase engagement. Social CRM is basically social customer relationship management. And you can also add these tools and systems along with your existing social media channels in order to really measure and keep track of all of the customer inquiries that are coming through social media. So just to give you an example, a quick one. Here we can see the Etisalat is a telecom provider in the UAE, and here is really their customer care Twitter page. So they've created a Twitter channel specifically for this reason. And just as a personal example, I can tell you that whenever I call them, I don't receive a fast enough response as I do, for example, on Twitter. So this is what's happening really. It's so much faster anyway. I mean, if you think about it, as a customer, would I rather find their phone number and then call and then wait to be heard, or do I just send a quick tweet on Twitter? So it's very convenient for your customers if you have a customer care channel. Plus, you can also align this with your customer relationship management tool, whatever you decide to use, whether it's Salesforce or anything else. But you can align it with that, and then you can keep track of queries in a better manner than you can over the phone. So I really recommend using these tools. So let's move on. So once you've really aligned your social media with business goals, some of the important aspects to consider before giving the green light on your social media campaign, and I really believe these are three very important aspects. And the reason why I've mentioned them here is I've noticed that in my personal experience that several campaigns before they give the green light, we're seeing that there isn't top-level buy-in, or they're not thinking social business. So I think it's very important to have these three key elements across departments. So whether you're going to be starting on or embarking on a career in social media, or whether you're already in or whether you're already a social media professional, it's important to consider these aspects. So one of the first is you want top-level buy-in for the entire process. And what that really means is you want top management to agree with social media and business goals and continue to provide support. Because if you don't have your top level managers agreeing with the campaign, you won't have them supporting it continuously, whether it's tweeting it, whether it's sharing it on Facebook. And this support can either be monetary for campaigns, or it can even be in the form of updates on social media pages from management. So you always want that top level buy-in for the entire process, and you want them involved in it as well. And also think social business. So ensure that all departments within the firm, and not just marketing, are aligned with the social media objectives. So when I was working with very large corporations on their social media strategy and implementing some of their pages, what was really interesting to note was as a corporation grows larger, it can become very difficult to have all departments on board for social media campaigns, but it's vital. And it's very, very important. So you don't only want marketing, you want sales, you want finance even, you want admin, everyone to be holistically working, whether it's just sharing the latest social media updates, sharing the blogs. At the end of the day, you have to realize that the network starts from within. So how it really begins is you start with your own employees, they share it within their networks, and that's how things grow and become viral. So it's very important that all departments are aligned with social media objectives. All functional teams are working together holistically as well to add value. And if this happens, what happens is you start with a small social media campaign, and then it might be that customer service or sales say, hey, that went really well. We would like to have our support channels and our communication with customers on social media as well. And then of course, step 3, knowledge is key. So all employees, major clients, and managers should be aware of current social media campaigns to ensure that they can follow, comment, and share these key messages. So involve them in the social media objectives process in step 2, which was basically when you were trying to get them to think social business with all departments. And not only that, but when you were also creating your objectives in terms of the business objectives, you should involve them in that process as well. Not necessarily clients, obviously, but employees and managers should be involved. And at the end of the day, the more involved a person is, the more likely they will be to share the messages in your campaign. So you don't want to send a generic newsletter out to the whole company that, okay, this is the campaign that's happening. You guys should join and share our messages. No, you want to involve them from step one. So when you're actually starting your campaign, whether, for example, we see this quite often in the States, fab.com and some of the e-commerce startups, they're very active on involving the whole business, all departments. So you will see Instagram photos from customer service department to for their office space, and you're really involving the whole company, basically. And that's really what you want to do as well. You want to involve them from step one, and not only that, but even get ideas from them, perhaps. So it's important that basically you start off by considering these three aspects before giving the green light on your campaign. So that brings us to an end of lesson 1.1. In 1.2, we'll be talking more about selecting your social presence, an introduction to LinkedIn and YouTube. Please switch over to the next video to watch lesson 1.2. And of course, if you have any questions till this point, as you know, you can post them on the Gradbury Academy course group or even send us an email. Thank you, and see you in lesson 1.2.